Scanlon-Guerra-Burke insurance brokers. He's been president of the firm. The firm was recently named one of the top 10 largest brokerage firms in Southern California in the Los Angeles Business Journal. He was also named as one of the top 100% brokers in the United States. He was ordained a deacon, a member of the clergy of the Catholic Church in 2002, and he had the distinction of being the only Catholic clergy elected official in the country. He currently serves as the chaplain of the Downey Police Department and is a member of the International Conference of Police Chaplains. Now, a reason we should all really love him was he was elected into the Downey City Council in 2006. He held 2 terms as the Mayor of Downey. He has helped facilitate the revitalization and planning of downtown Downey and South Downey corridor, which means that we can personally thank him for having portals. He is very proud to be named the nonpartisan elected official of the year for Los Angeles County and served as the president of the Independent Cities Association, which represents over 7 million residents in 50 cities in 2013 and 14. He is the current treasurer for the California Republican Party and an author of many op-ed pieces that were widely circulated and published in several newspapers. And he can be reached on his website, marioaguerra.com. When Mario finds some free time, he enjoys traveling with his wife and his family, cheering on his favorite team, the UCLA football Bruins, and going on long bike rides. Mario and his wife Ann and their 5 children have proudly made the city of Downey their home for over 35 years. So it's my great pleasure to introduce Mario.
So as he said, but it's interesting, yes, I am a proud Bruin. I am a proud UCLA Bruin alumni. My wife went to USC. Okay, so we literally are that whole thing, that flag that comes out in mixed marriage, right? You know, I was named for a vote and so forth. And I also tell people, I go, she married well. So no, she doesn't like when I use that joke on her. But anyway, first of all, thank you for being here, because you guys are amazing that you're here on this beautiful Saturday. Because your faith makes you want to explore yourself and your vision, not only for your community, but also who you are as a Christian, who you are as one of God's children. And today to be here is pretty amazing to me. When I walked in, I saw all of you, and especially not too many of you had the white hair thing, you know? Most of you aren't that old together, so God bless you for being here. Thank you for that this morning too. That sometimes is very inspirational. You know what? One of the things. Okay. Next one. You know, when he was talking about quotes earlier, you know, I try to live my life. It's very simple. When I was ordained in 2002, Cardinal Mahoney was our celebrant now. That ordained. I was the first elected official Catholic clergy in the United States, because usually you shouldn't serve both sides of the brains don't work with your heart sometimes. But I did receive special blessing. And I picked this reading at my ordination out there because I wanted to make sure for all of us who we are. And why God has called us, especially for us to be able to lead in the community. It doesn't have to be mutually exclusive. Who we are is a faith journey. It is part of who we are every single day of our life and every relationship that we have. And you know, by the grace of God that I'm here today, and by the grace of God, it tells me that he has pretty much a sense of humor, because I want to tell you a little bit about my story and how we got here from that. Right? And we are in God's hands, and I tell you, John Gately Downey, the city of Downey, was named after this Catholic Irishman, right? And he came over when he was 14 years old, and from Ireland. And he came over, he wanted to become a Catholic priest. And he literally didn't know what to do. And he came here to the United States, didn't know anybody, happened to go up north in Northern California, discovered this gold rush thing happening, okay, then came down to Southern California, and at the age of 32, by the time he became governor in 1860, he had already founded the Chamber of Commerce. He had already become a pharmacist. He had already founded the Los Angeles Police Department. He had already founded a library system in the state of California. He was the first foreign-born governor, of course, in the state of California, as the first transcontinental telegraph between him and Abraham Lincoln in 1860. So back then, California was a democratically run state, just like it is today, and that's not a political assertion, okay? That's got nothing to do with politics. So Abraham Lincoln was worried, President Lincoln was worried California was going to go fight the South. And he literally telegraphed John Gately Downey in government, the government says, will you please help us out? He says, I'll do better than that. I'll send Calvaries to help out if I can go with them. So we talk a lot about John Downey and our community, but it all comes through our action and our faith. St. Augustine did say that preach the gospel every single day of your life, but when absolutely necessary, and use words. That's who we are. But there's not, you don't have to use a lot of work. We're doing it by the actions and how we have relationships with other people. 31 words in the Pledge of Allegiance. There's 163 words in the Ten Commandments, and there's 263 words in Gettysburg Address, one of the greatest speeches ever given. So, folks, we have that responsibility every single day to make sure how we live our lives has that interaction in the community, in your community, and we all have different communities together. But this is part of our calling. I use the 3 F's, and this came about 15 years ago, and I continue to use that on faith, family, and friends. I firmly believe that everything we do fits into the 3 F's: faith, family, and friends. It doesn't matter if it's our job, it doesn't matter if it's our relationship, it doesn't matter who our friends are, it all fits into that. Okay? We can make it part of our lives. Just remember that. Your happiness is that simple with the 3 F's. Now, I'll tell you a little bit of a story about my own faith journey in a minute, but includes the 4th F. I did. I came from Cuba when I was 6 years old, and one of the first freedom flights. I'm the cute little guy right there, okay? That's my brother, that's my adopted sister, my mom and dad, and that's my cousin. So we had a farm in Cuba. My dad was very wealthy. My dad was a surgeon in Cuba. My grandfather started Cohiba cigars. It was called Guerra cigars. When I was able to go back a few years ago with my mom before she passed away, I was able to go to the factory. And this old tabaquero that had worked for my grandfather went to his home and went and got me in Cuba a Guerra Cohiba bar. The logo on it was my dad's baby picture. And I was able to bring that, and it sits in my office today in downtown Downey. But it's amazing what you see when you trace your own roots. And who you are as a person out there comes out real clear to each one of us out there. It's an important part of every single one of you and who you are. This is actually from us here. Again, I'm the cute guy there. I don't know what happens after you get old, okay? So this is literally it, okay? This is it. When we first got here from Cuba, there were 17 of us, okay, staying in a 1-bedroom apartment in Hyde Park. You know how people, the racist people on there also like to talk, especially more about Hispanic families on there. Oh, look at all the Mexicans in one apartment, it's code, right? For all the stuff on there. We were it. We were one of those families on there. We were 17 of us in a 1-bedroom apartment in Hyde Park. And you know what happened after we did that? We all went and got jobs. Everybody went to work on there until you could do that. My dad didn't speak a word of English. My dad was a skilled surgeon that came from Cuba. The Che Guevara got out of the revolution, got him out of jail because the revolution needed a surgeon. Okay? So my dad comes here. You know what he started doing? He started sweeping the floors at California Hospital downtown LA while he was studying for all his medical exams at night. You know what my dad did when he finally had to retire because of an amputation leg? He was a chief of surgery at the same hospital that he was sweeping the floor at. Okay? So God is good, but we need to apply ourselves out there. And that's part of our core upbringing. This is literally, the other day, this is literally one of my credentials in my office. That's the inside of the box. That's my dad, Guerra Cigars. And that's the one box that I had to, I literally had to bribe an official in the Cuban airport to bring it back. I know. So, let me tell you, before I go to the next slide. So when I grew up on there, you know, my dad was a very religious man. My mom and my abuelita, you know, they wore veils. I mean, real faithful and made sure we went to church on Sunday. I had no clue. Okay, I was a little boy, and I became an altar server because, as you can tell by now, I'm hyper, right? So I didn't want to sit in the pews. Okay, so we went to church. My dad was responsible enough. He was a quiet man on there, deep thought. He was a scientist on there. His faith wasn't very strong, but he knew as a father he had to do the right thing. So he went to church with us every Sunday. So for me as a Latino male, it was important to see him there kneeling and standing and kneeling, standing and be there at church with us. Okay? Because you know how abuelitas and mommies they're supposed to be, they're saints on there. But then when a male comes, that male figure, so for all of us males here, too, it's important. And people, and also all of us are parents, their kids are watching. So I watched them. And then what happened, we used to go to Huntington Park inside an auditorium, and there was, because nobody spoke Spanish, so we were able to find a Catholic priest that spoke Spanish, and he came and did the masses out there. It was a small community, it was just kind of built up. So then something happened tragically that changed my life. So we all grew and everything was fine. And then we had, on June 9th, in that year, I was 19 years old, and I was studying to be a pilot. I was 8 hours away from my pilot's license. My brother was a pilot. My brother Louis was my mentor, he was my hero, he was my big brother. So on June 9th, I thought that we were going to take my Tio Maloto, he was 49, my cousin George, 18, and Maria Barba, my cousin Maria Barba, he was 12. We were going to fly over to Catalina and have lunch like we usually do. I was called to do a Little League game, and it came up at the last minute. Okay, so I couldn't go. So on Friday, I was disappointed. You guys have a great time. Well, the next day, he took off from Long Beach Airport, just a couple miles from there. If anybody has flown or you have any aviation knowledge, if a plane at 30,000 feet, if the engine goes out, you're going to be okay. Okay, you'll be able to glide and land. You have altitude and airspeed. Okay, that's all you need, altitude and airspeed. But if your plane is coming down to land or your plane is taking off, and the engine goes out, you're in trouble. His engine taking off out there had problems. He tried to turn around and land on the freeway, at the 405 freeway, and his plane crashed. And all 4 of them passed away. So that changed our lives, obviously. Here's 4 family members that passed away in one moment. I had issues. Okay? Obviously, the emotional distress of what that is what happened. But my guiding light was something that was really interesting. My Eva lost her husband and her 2 kids, all in one shot. Okay? I was angry with God. Really? What kind of God can this be? That he lets these 4 beautiful people there die in this plane crash. What kind of God would do that? They had a special bond and relationship. But then I had another issue. And then, why was I saved in the last minute? Why was I not killed? Okay, what am I doing? So I was a young man. So the heck of this God, I'm angry at him. But something happened from the very first moment that my Tia Eva, even from the first moment of the accident out there, and this lady was still the guiding light of my life. She passed away a couple years ago. She said, you know what? This isn't God's doing. This is a terrible accident. This isn't God's doing. This is a terrible accident. So I'm looking at her, and I start thinking as I mature, boy, if this faith can get this lady through this, okay, there's got to be something to this faith. And it's got to be pretty special. So then, when I met my wife, and I know the Holy Spirit was working, and I met my wife had been educated, and she had a very strong faith. So I know God was guiding me on her, because I just didn't go to church with her just because I was meeting her. And I met her, and she was a faith-filled person. But she had a lot of questions. She had a lot of answers to my questions, and was able to lead me into the direction that I wanted. And when I finally opened my heart to God to see what the calling was, you know what? It changed my life. But it changed my life knowing that that the goodness of God got her through that. So this is a moment that defined me. It will always define me of who I am. But it changed me and for the better in so many ways. And I try to live out the memory of who they are and what they did. And even to this day, Eva, my son's a 17-year-old high school senior. Last night was homecoming. And I'm leaving from here to go to this homecoming dance. So please don't get mad at me that I'm not saying until the end of the day, okay? We got to live that whole faith family and friends. Okay? It's a real thing, okay? That's the number 2, the family part. So I really am going, okay? So he's a high school senior, and I didn't see this until today. So we bought a program last night. It's a high school football game, okay? He plays for St. John Bosco. And my wife just told me this morning, she goes, did you look at the one where he answered the questions in there, like, my senior, my best moment, where we hung out, the whole stuff. And he put in there my most inspirational person. He goes, Evangelina Gonzalez, that's Eva. So here's a 17-year-old kid out there that continues to be inspired. I thought it was pretty cool. I didn't know that till now. Anyways, this is one of my favorite quotes. John Wooden, I knew John Wooden. I was able to give him right. I went to UCLA. John Wooden always told me, and I had it in my car, he always told me, he said, he used to like to quote Abraham Lincoln and Mother Teresa, okay? So I'm sorry, all you young people that don't know who John Wooden is, look him up, okay? Probably one of the greatest coaches that ever lived, but he was a very, very good man, okay? okay? So look him up and tell you who he is. But anyways, I follow in his footsteps as much as I can. He would have been, on Tuesday, he would have been 102 years old. He lived to be 100. Okay. This is his 7 point for life, and this is me and him at Monty's restaurant on Woodland Hills. And folks, to this day, I carry that. Wait a minute. I carry a 7 point creed in my wallet. Okay? Folks, he got this from his father. And you can do a lot worse than follow the 7 creed. Okay? Make each day your masterpiece. Okay? Help others. Drink deeply from good books. Okay? Give prayer for guidance and thanks for every day. Build a shelter for a rainy day. And most importantly, under number 5, make friendship a fine art. That's the relationship of our faith. Okay? And that's who we are, and we're called every single day of our life. So we can do a lot worse than John Wayne. So, relationships through action. I'm proud to be the chaplain for the police department, Downey Police Department. I've seen some really terrible things. I'm the first notification for the families on there of any deaths in the city. I had one this week. I've been out to suicide. Officers and I have been the first responded when literally a young man hanging on a tree with a rope in the backyard. And we're just literally pulling him up, trying to keep the family away. So there's a lot of young people, believe it or not. Last year we had 14 suicides younger than the age of 20, just in a 14, 15 mile square area. So it's a lot more tragic thing than it seems. But the one thing that I love about my chaplain work, number one is I don't like going there and telling families bad things that happen. I don't like being called in the middle of the night, and I don't like a lot of these things. But I tell you, when I get home and I debrief myself out there and I say a prayer again, I'm glad I was able to go there and give somebody comfort in their moment. That's what our calling is. That's our vision through relationships that we're all called to do. We can be somebody in somebody's life. Okay? And it doesn't have to be the big things. Like you said earlier, Mother Teresa's, we can all do small things with great love. That's part of our calling of who we are. So, and then when I was in, this is in New Orleans, after Hurricane Katrina. So that was 1 week in the Houston Astrodome. It was smelly, it was hot. People, back then we didn't have the cameras. That was a throwaway camera that somebody had given a picture of one of those old throwaway cameras on there. That's one of the few pictures I have. But you know what? By being there, again, these kids, they had no other things going on. They had no homes. We were able to play together. Okay? That's what the mom needed while she's filling out forms and trying to figure out part of this. Where the heck are they going to live next week besides the Houston Astrodome? Okay? We can make a difference in each other's lives by simply, in the ministry of presence, don't ever underestimate that. Just being there for somebody, even on a one-on-one. But that's something that I spent another week guarding deceased bodies inside Memorial Hospital in downtown New Orleans. It was 2 or 3 police officers and myself out there, and part of our job was keeping families out because they wanted to go inside this building that had no air conditioning, demolished. There were 32 deceased individuals inside. So, but the ministry of presence that I have there will always be with me. That's the Mother Teresa quote, one of my favorite ones that I look at Mother Teresa all the time. When Father was saying that earlier about Mother Teresa, the quote that he had on there about that we're all called to be successful, we're called to be faithful. Mother Teresa, when that happened, she was walking into literally almost a World Hunger Conference, and a reporter asked her, Mother Teresa, you've been taking care of the poor, the disenfranchised, those people that have been left out your entire life, and yet today in the world there's more poverty, there's more people that feel left out, there's more people that feel they're disenfranchised. Mother Teresa, do you consider yourself a failure? And that's when she walked up. She's a very short woman in physical stature. She walked up to this reporter and said, my son, we're not called to be successful, we're called to be faithful. We're called to be faithful one person at a time. And that's the beauty of the simpleness of who we are. I want to ask something else. How many of you here consider yourself a leader? Raise your hand. Come on, don't be bashful. How many of you consider yourself a leader? Okay? All right? Now, I don't know, probably a third. Okay? That you that raised your hand. Okay, I'm here to tell you that you being here on this Saturday, okay, you here exploring your faith and your vision, so forth, I can tell you that every single one of you is a leader. Mother Teresa didn't give up. She'll go out there and give great speeches. Mother Teresa was one of the great leaders of our lifetime out there by setting by example. That's who we are as leaders. Every single one of you is a leader. You know, my Senate campaign, I had a young man that started as a volunteer and rose through the ranks and became my deputy campaign manager. So after the campaign last year, he went and started selling cars at Kia Cerritos, right? It's a good normal job. But I noticed on his social media that he wasn't posting anything about it and so forth. So one time I took him out for coffee and said, Hans, I noticed that. How come you're not posting anything on social media about what you're doing, about selling cars over at Kia? He goes, oh, he goes, Mario, I'm sorry. He goes, I'm kind of embarrassed that now I'm selling cars. I go, really? I go, are you doing it honestly? Well, yeah. Are you working hard? Yeah. Are you providing a service to somebody else in a good way? Yeah. I go, dude, and you gotta own it. Are you kidding? Be proud of who you are and what you're doing. I go, start posting stuff on there. Dude, you gotta own everything you are. And so forth. And he did, he started posting, he became one of the top sales guys in the last 6 months over at Kia Cerritos and stuff like that. He's a good guy. He's working hard. You know, somebody asked me earlier what I do for a living for pay. Okay? And I do a lot of different things that are fun. Okay? I'm very involved in politics, of course, and I'm helping run a couple campaigns and other stuff out there. My mainstay, and you can call it all the fancy things you want. Risk management, financial services, I don't know, consulting and other stuff. You know what I do and what I did and what I'm proud to do? I'm an insurance salesman. Okay? I sell business insurance. That's it. I own it. That's who I am. So anything you do, just own it and be proud about it. Are you providing a service? Are you being honest and ethical about it? Or are you working hard? That's the relationship. I'll tell you what, nobody put in more time as mayor of the city of Downey. Okay? And I'm posting these pictures here because they're all about relationship, and that's the topic here. Okay, so I am a big fat guy now. Okay? I was really, really even fatter then. Okay? I went from super obese to obese. My goal is to get to chunky. Okay? Alright? So you guys will be with me. Okay? So I lost 84 pounds. I realized, thank you. But in terms of accountability, I realized that I want to see my grandkids go up, okay? And I'm this big fat guy and all this other stuff out. So I needed to change my life. So I did. I started exercising, I started dieting, but I needed accountability myself. So as mayor, I could do this. So I started this event called Healthy Downey. And it was walking Wednesdays with the mayor. People would come out, a couple hundred people would come out and walk with me every Wednesday. Then I thought I needed partners and relationships in the community. So I got Kaiser Hospital involved, I got Downey Community Hospital, I got the U.S. Army, I got Coca-Cola that's in our city. I was able to get all these different sponsors, and we created a movement of Healthy Downey. Well, one of them I had to lead by example, so at every council meeting, I would stand there and I would weigh in. At every council meeting, that's how council. There's our police chief, that's our city clerk. She recorded. It'd be in the newspaper how fat the mayor was that week. Okay, it really was. So, anyways, but that's the accountability. The city of Downey, okay, is the first, and this comes back to relationship. There's a point to this, okay? The city of Downey in 1957, President Dwight Eisenhower said we should build relationships with other cities and other countries as a cultural, as an educational, as a business exchange, right? So in August 1960, the city of Downey became the first sister city with anybody else outside of the United States. And we all know every city that you live in today here in Southern California has a sister city someplace else in the world. So Downey was pretty special. We were the first one to Guadalajara, Mexico in August 1960. Okay? So the city of Roscommon, Ireland is where John Gately Downey was born. Okay? So this guy here, that's Lord Mayor, okay, Lord Mayor Crosby, Tom Crosby. They call me Lord Mayor when you're mayor over there, right? And they gave me, when I went there to sign Sister Cities Relationship, it was a historic thing. Okay, this is, they give you this chain with all the different old things on it. I didn't get to keep it, it was real gold. Okay, but anyway, so you go there, and it's funny, they call you Lord Mayor, they call my wife Lady Ann. I come home, I go, hey man, you can still call me Lord Mayor. Yeah, she goes, get over it, dude, it's not gonna happen. So, anyway, but I went there and signed this historic Sister Cities relationship for all those things, and his daughter, his 32-year-old 2-year-old daughter. The first night we were there, they get a call from Dublin, from the hospital of Dublin, and she had, the test came back, she had this inoperable brain tumor. Like they couldn't operate there. And that night, the first night, the night before this, okay, and him and his wife were having dinner with my wife and I, and we had all our staff over there and stuff. So he comes back, and he comes back with his face, and then him and his wife go over there and talk, and then they pull us aside and they tell us, it's like, you guys gotta go to Dublin now. Just leave. It's 2 hours away from Dublin. Your daughter, because no, she'll be fine. It's not life-threatening today. It is if she doesn't have the surgery in the next 6 months. Because of this trip, okay, we were able to find there's one surgeon that does this in the entire world. And you know where he's at? At Cedars-Sinai, over there in West LA. We were able to make the connections. His daughter came out here last year. Her husband had the surgery, stayed in recuperated for 3 months. Last year we had a ride in the Rose Bowl parade, the Downey parade, the Pasadena, rode on the Downey float, and now she's perfectly healthy on there with her 2 kids and her husband living on there. That started from this, okay? And I got criticized for going there because politicians do this a lot. Politicians go out there on these junkets, okay? A lot of politicians evidently need free vacations, okay? So they do this, but they put it at the public trough on there, and sometimes it's legitimate, sometimes it's just a trip. Okay, I paid for my own way, okay, my wife's way out there. The only expense the city had was on some trinkets or some pins or whatever, and stuff like that. So anyways, my point in all this is go big, think big. Don't be afraid of the criticism in your relationships and establishing that. Okay? Don't be afraid of that. I took a lot of heat for that, and it's one of the things I'm proudest of today. Okay? Just by regular communication with the citizens and the kids out there, this is something that you can always do. You don't have to be the mayor of the city. You have that ability out there just by living your faith with relationships. Okay, so Tesla Motors. Okay, we have the Apollo capsules and the space shuttles were built in the city of Downey. It's part of our legacy, part of our history. So we wanted Tesla there. Tesla was looking to build a new plant, a new motor plant. Okay, they were up in Fremont in California. So we courted Elon Musk for over 2 years. I had meetings with him at 2 in the morning with all the lawyers and so forth. The day before they had signed, they signed the lease agreement to come to the city of Downey. This is something we hear. This is a full-page ad in the LA Times. Okay, and Downey welcomes Tesla Motors, Apollo, and Tesla, the legacy. That's me, and there's our entire council. I put the cheesy t-shirts on, put that in the LA Times. We were courting them. We wanted them to come to Downey and see part of the history. Here's a little engine that could. We wanted the 4,000 jobs that come with it in the technology. He was going to build the greenest manufacturing plant in Northern California. The carbon output on a whole car of painting would be less than a can of paint, a spray paint. Okay, so there's a lot of potential. So he stood us up on the altar. Okay, he left us literally the night before. I got a call from an AP reporter telling me that on there, and then when I called him, that we're having a press conference in Northern California instead of our city hall at 4 o'clock. That was at 1:30 in the afternoon. And when I called Elon Musk on there, Mario, Mr. Mayor, you're right. I'm sorry. And I go, you left your office at 1:30 last night. We had a signed agreement. And it's okay. It's okay. But couldn't you have told us before? Okay, business and ethics on there. You didn't have to tell us who it was, but don't leave us on from that standpoint. That's what we were deeply hurt. So that night, I was in all the news stations, and and my quote was, this is what gives big business a bad name, disingenuous and so forth. So I was honest with him. I didn't attack him personally, but I was honest with him. So that night, our whole staff, we had worked on this for 2 or 3 years. We were devastated. So at City Hall, my goal as the mayor was basically to make sure that nobody jumped off the roof, okay? I realized that. I'm like, okay, these people worked hard. They deserved this on there, they didn't deserve it this way. So then after we closed City Hall, there's a big atrium in the middle there. And Elon Musk had given me a model car of a Tesla out there. We used to play around with the remote control in the city council office and the whole thing. So that night, I called our whole city over, and that car went down 3 stories on the outside. I knocked the car down, it was safe for the whole thing. This is the result. It's a smashed up Tesla model car. I said, guys, this is Thursday, okay? We get to POW for 3 days. Okay, we're going to POW Friday, Saturday, and Sunday because we deserve to POW because we worked hard. On Monday, come back and tell me what's next. Okay, what are we going to do next? So what we did next is this. okay? And it's open today. The problem out at Downey, 1.5 million square feet of retail, 3,000 construction jobs, 3,000 permanent jobs. You can go there now and go to one of 19 restaurants that are there today. A 150-room hotel. How to re-energize and revitalize the area. The point on all this is there's life after you drop the car, okay? And we do that by the vision and working together on this, so that's what's next. And that's in our community. So, one of my pet peeves is graffiti. I hate graffiti. You can take action on that. If you call, we have graffiti in my city 24 hours a day, and within 24 hours, if you call 923-4484, the graffiti will be removed off of your house, your neighbor's house, on the stop sign, at the gas station in the corner. Graffiti is taking pride in your city, saying, bad guy, you can't do this, okay? Bad guy, please don't do this, okay? This is my neighborhood. So we took our thing, we spent over $300,000 on my community taking care of graffiti. By 24 hours, it'll be there. We have an app. You do it, you can take a picture of it, send it to GPS to City Hall, and usually in less than 5 hours it'll be removed, okay? So, here's the whole thing. So, all those power boxes that are really ugly on the railroad tracks, okay? So, I said, why don't we paint those? Why don't we paint those and liven them up and so forth? Graffiti people like slates, okay? They don't want any of the design, they want to be able to be seen, right? So, they want that blank slate. So those power boxes, you can see they've been painted over and over again from graffiti removal. They belong to Union Pacific Railroad. So our staff tried to get them to allow us to paint those boxes. And we went about 6 months and nothing happened. I go, let's call them. We went back east on there and literally met with them. And still no reaction. They said, no, we can't lay you on our tracks and whatever. These are literally like this is the sidewalk, 3 feet away, but it belongs on Union Pacific Railroad. I said, we're not taking no for an answer. How do we get this done? Okay? And we kept at it and kept at it. And then finally, we were the first city to ever allow this, actually in Homestead, allowed to be able to paint those on the railroad. We said with a test model case. We now have, so you can see what we did. This box is that box. We painted it with our logo and stuff. We're able to paint it so it looks like part of the community. We can beautify our community working together, any community that you live in on there, by talking about it, by leadership, by discussion, by having that vision. And it all starts with here and God leading us to that. It all starts with faith. I don't care what anybody says, I'm sorry. And that faith is that we can work together with somebody else. So, I did a power box here. This is a family one. So I did it. There's 42 of them painted in the city. But then I did it, hey, why don't we allow businesses or individuals to buy one on there and be able to keep that on there? So the Garrett family sponsored this one. And on here, by the way, you can do anything you want. The artist will paint anything you want. Okay? This is a little boy looking at the fish with the pillars of character count. Trustworthiness, respect, responsibility, fairness, caring, and citizenship. That's what our community stands for. That little boy, I took artistic liberty on there. That's my grandbaby. That's my grandson. But don't tell anybody, okay? This cute little boy looking at the fishes that don't count. And then the city attorney wouldn't let me put the Bible verse on there. Okay? One of my favorite Bible verses for that should come out from Proverbs, right? Without vision, the people shall perish. Okay? So, but she says, Mario, you can put the words there, you just can't use this is public property. You just can't say it's from Proverbs. And on top, this is literally my water fountain on my front lawn, and I have a cross hanging out of there. She says, can't put the cross either. I'm okay, I can live with that as long as I got it. So, on the side, this is the real box, where there's no vision, the people perish. So, I was able to put the words without Proverbs on top of it. Okay? Folks, leadership in the community. I started the neighborhood watch and I've been dormant because of cost. We now have 194 neighborhood watch groups in the city of Downey. As mayor, I went to 145 of them personally. I wanted to welcome them when they came to do that. The city of Downey has some of the lowest crime rates in all of southeast Los Angeles County. And that's part of it too, that we do. That's one of the things, that's one of the 5 elements we consider for lower crime and come back. So again, vision in the community. Embracing change. This is part of the leadership. Officer Ricky Galvez was a proud Marine. His end of watch was on November 18, 2015. And that was last year. He came back to the police department after dog training. He wanted to be a canine officer. He was an agitator, so you wear that thing and that big heavy equipment and the dog tries to bite you. He wanted to be a dog handler. He came back at 11 o'clock at night to the police station to change his clothes and literally to use the bathroom. But he parked on the other side, not where the police officers parked. So he came back out afterwards on there, and he was literally in his car checking his emails. And the three bad guys came in on their one shot to the head. And they thought they were robbing someplace else. So these same bad guys are in jail now. Their trial hasn't processed yet. They have robbed 3 other cities. They started in Lakewood and up the Belgrade. They didn't even know they were out. They didn't even know it was a police department on the other side. Ricky was a very good man, and so we lost the community. That's in the cathedral there, his funeral. As chaplain, they had asked me to do the services, and I can tell you that there's nothing that's more important than the relationship that we have with our families when something like that happens. And I mean their families, our extended families, not brother and sister, mom and dad, but our brothers in faith, our brothers in law enforcement, our brothers in the community, our brothers and sisters that we have together. And that's the relationship and the vision that we have. This right picture here, we have Lance Corporal Josh Whittle, young man from Downey High School, got killed in Afghanistan. And we didn't know what to do. So what we did is we went down there, and I took a group of our firemen and our police. That's Roger Brown, that's Captain Milligan and myself. We went to Los Alamitos Air Base to pick him up and bring him home. And I can tell you, those 2 events, they're part of who we are and part of who I am by having that relationship with our community. And I'll tell you, as tragic as they were, they are, it brought our city together. Sometimes, like for me, it changed my faith. It was a plane crash that started and first spiraling down, and later on I could see God working through my life and helping others. That has done so much for the city of Downey from that. We took something tragic and are dealing with it in different ways. But you can do that too, just by starting those relationships. Before you get mad on there at this, I want to say something. How many of you consider yourselves millennials? A lot of you are young people, okay? Come on, 1981 to 2000, okay? You're a millennial, okay? That's okay. It's not bad. There's a stereotype, and you're breaking the stereotypes right now. But I want this cute video I want you guys to see. And we're talking about religion. I want you to see this there. But don't shoot me. It's not bad, okay? And I'll tell you why I decided to flip. You can do this.
Ding, 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 ding. He sits inside your local coffee shop, sporting a burning facial hair. Somehow he believes, although he has no job, that by his 30s he will be a millionaire. M-I-M-L-E-N, M-I-A, L, gotta love millennials. M-I-M-L-E-N, M-I-A, L, gotta love millennials. She posts lots of selfies on her Instagram with the quote that's inspiration. Hopes to change the world by wearing yoga. Her dreams and knowledge are essential. Gotta love millennials. Gotta love millennials. 27 years old, trying to make it on their own. Maybe start by leaving your parents home. Maybe we're just wrong. Criticism isn't easy for their ears. They feel like they know most everything. See, they grew up with undeserving confidence, 'cause they got trophies just for participation. In a couple of years, we will have to pass the torch. In a couple of years, they will be in charge, and one will be our president.
you need to know your audience, okay? For a lack of better, that's real blunt. But we need to know what we're dealing with and who we're talking with, okay? Millennials are the most educated, okay, most diverse, okay, most single, most in debt generation ever. Okay, these are just statistics on it. This isn't bad. And, millennials have now passed baby boomers as our largest block in the United States. Okay, there's nothing bad with that. But again, as long as we know the relationship, trust me, I have 5 kids, so 3 of them are millennials. Okay, 3 out of 5, and I can see some of those traits. God, it's a different generation. And the next one, my 17-year-old and younger are there. I mean, my 17-year-old's never going to write a check in his life. And he literally will never have to sign a check in his life on there, right? Because it'll all be PayPal and it'll all be different automated type of thing. So there's generational things. Our relationships matter, okay? Our relationship and knowing that are very, very important. Okay, so I told you about my Trojan wife, okay? So this is literally the sign that'll be up there. That's her license plate, USD 48, my UCLA by 7. That's because we beat them 4 years ago by a touchdown, okay? All right, so, but again, especially in Southern California, we're all divided, not just obviously school, but we all have division. We have divisions in how we look, and what our race, and our look, and our faith. And these days, our political parties, okay? It's just, we all want to hunt and start all over again. But you know what? The core that we have is, first of all, the love that we have for each other. And number 2, the calling that we have through our own faith. It doesn't matter what faith I'm in. The other day, we dedicated the Downey Wellness Center, and it was one of the Jewish days, and we felt bad of doing that out there, and I didn't do it, but it was set on my day. So we want to make sure we're always inclusive of everybody that we have, and that comes through communication. Okay, so through the lives, I told you how I lived my life with the 3 F's, faith, family, and friends. Okay, well, from September to late December, it's just 4th F. Okay, that's really, really cool. It's one of my favorite things in life on there, and they call it the 4th F. Okay, it's called football. All right, I love football. I'm a football guy. I play football. Give me football. Okay, so I get married. My wife and I get married. We got married in a Catholic church. Okay, it was a sacrament, important to my wife. I didn't really care. Okay, I wasn't there yet. I know I had to do this. So my wife, Julie, as our kids started growing up, I'm going to go to church. And that's what she did. And she always did. She was very, very strong in her faith. Yeah, Sundays isn't for church, you guys. Come on. Sundays is for football, right? So the rule in our house is, hey, on the way out, before you guys leave for the 10 o'clock mass, make sure you wake me up so I can watch the 10 o'clock game. Those are the rules, okay? Those are the rules, all right? So from the Mouse of Babes on there, he's now, just figuring this out. So Mario's 37, our oldest. Okay? So he's 5 years old. He comes upstairs, he's supposed to do his homework, he's going to shake me, wake me up. So he wakes me up, Dad, wake up, we're leaving, we're going to church. We're going to church, okay, yeah, great, okay, son. He goes, Dad, can I ask you something? So like, yeah, son, yeah, sure. He goes, Dad, why don't we go to church to thank God and you don't? Pretty good word, pretty good question from a 5-year-old. I don't know, son, I don't know. So what happens, right? Okay, all that stuff comes in that whole day. It starts thinking, put my vision of my father. Okay, you lead by example. So you know what? The next Sunday I went to church, right? Didn't know I was there. It had been a long time since I'd gone to church, but only 14 years. Okay, stand, sit, blah, 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 blah. I didn't really care. I just didn't care. I was still angry up to a point, but I knew I had to be there to set the example. Okay, so months go by. I start reading a little bit about it. Then I come into church one day, and there's that greeter guy. The hospitality minister waiting outside the church. I go, you know, I can do that. I like people. I can do the greeting thing. But here's the ulterior motive, okay? But by doing that, I don't have to sit in the pews right away. Okay? I can cheat 5 minutes of this thing just by being the last person in, okay? So my mind's been on there. I'll do that. So I started doing that, and I started liking it because I like people, okay? God gave me that love, at least, on there. And so you look back now, you know why everything happens in life. So then a couple months go by, and you get up and you're like, you look at the guys doing the collections through the mass, okay? And I'm like, hey, that's kind of like halftime of the mass, right? So I'm going to volunteer for that. It gets me out of the pews. Okay, I don't have to be there. It's that's good. Hey, I want to be an usher. Okay, so what's happening to me? I'm getting more involved in different ways. So what happens is you get involved with some of the church leaders that are training you or working with you and so forth. Guess what? You start meeting people. And guess what? You go to service meetings and you go to different things there. And you're like, wow. And then what happens? You start exploring your own faith. And you start looking at it. And you start asking questions. And you start doing these things. Okay? So that's the calling that I now see. So a couple years go by and I'm like, okay, in the Catholic Church we go to confession, right? So I forgot my act of contrition, that you go in there and you do the confession. We believe through the power of the Holy Spirit that you can be absolved and the priest can absolve you. So my wife carried it in. See, I carried a lot of stuff. No money, but I carry a lot of stuff. Okay? So, I hit $5 bill for yours. Okay. So my wife, on the back of a business card, okay, she wrote the act of contrition for me. So when I went in there to the confession, oh my God, I'm sorry for my sin, and in choosing to sin against you and failing to do good, I have sinned against you in the church. Okay? So I get in there, and I remember this elderly priest, his name was Monsignor Fosselman, from the Fosselman Ice Cream. He's passed away a couple months ago. So I walk in there because I didn't want anybody to know my voice, right? Okay? I had a lot of confessions, right? You know, it's been a long time. Walk in there, bless me, Father, for I have sinned. It's been 14 years since my last confession. And this is where you and I can make a difference. You and I can make a difference in a relationship with somebody tomorrow, today. Look at them. They want a relationship. They want to ask something. Stop. Don't look over that person. Stop. Okay? Have that moment. This is what Monsignor Fosselman said that changed my life in so many things. He said, it's never too late to come back, my son. He goes, why don't we just talk? And we are, the screen and, in opposite rooms on you can see where the old confessional like that. And after, I was in there for, 18 hours. It was 14 years. No, I wasn't. But afterward, he gave me a lot of different things to think about. I went out there and prayed. But that's where we can make a difference. We can make a difference by being in each other's their hearts. Okay. So I got a quick joke because sometimes we don't hear about it. But part of the communication. I'm going to show you this thing here about the small acts of love that we can all do. Okay, this is literally 30 seconds, and I'm going to wrap it up. But just read the words on there. My millennial daughter found that, okay? And she goes, Dad, she goes, I really like this. And I think of her every time I see it, because we can. That small thing, that language of love. And I'm going to end it with this. Because after about 10 years, we've been married 31 years, but after about 10 years, my wife and I went to a marriage encounter weekend, right? So it was great. It was a really nice, but one of the exercises that we did was you're supposed to go off and write off on your own and write down something that maybe you wanted to tell the other person, but you didn't want to hurt their feelings, okay? Something on there to help their marriage, but you didn't want to hurt their feelings. So we go off and then we come back together and we start sharing. And we call this the language of love. So I'm Cuban, right? So Cubans like pork, okay? That's what we do. We have, we roast pork every which way. I know, that's just what we do. We're Cuban. Black beans and fried bananas and pork, okay? So my wife, because she knew I was Cuban, she was trying to make me happy. Every couple of weeks, she would make pork chops, right? As just a regular, Wednesday meal, right? Well, for 10 years, I've been eating these pork chops. I didn't have the heart to tell her I couldn't stand pork chops, okay? I don't like pork chops, I don't want pork chops, but I didn't want to hurt her feelings because, I didn't want to tell her about the burnt toast, right? So we were able to share that. Well, hers was, evidently, okay, there's a freeway off-ramp close to our house, so when I would come home from work, and the guy would be selling flowers there by the side of the freeway, right? So I would buy the $5 flowers, and I would come home and bring it to her, honey, I love you. It's a Tuesday, just I thought I would be romantic, sweet, and cute, right? As it turned out, she hated freeway flowers, okay? She'd rather save my money and buy good flowers once a year, right? Okay? But I kept bringing home freeway flowers. So for 11 years, I ate pork chops, he had cheap flowers, because we didn't communicate, okay? So in our relationship. So the language of love is, okay, good flowers, no pork chops, but that was the thing in the communication that we currently have and we do. But you know what? It all comes back to the big guy, okay? And the big guy, at the end of our times here, God's not going to ask us what house we lived in. He's going to ask us to whom they would bring into our homes. God doesn't care what clothes I wear. He's going to ask us to whom do we help clothe. God doesn't care what job I have. God's going to ask me, did you give up your personal convictions? And God doesn't care what neighborhood you live in. He's going to ask you how you treat your neighbors. And God just doesn't care what kind of car we drove. He's going to ask us to whom do we give transportation to. So that's our calling. That's what our calling in relationships and having that vision, because you and I are called every single day, every single moment. Sometimes I'm amazed on there. You have this great Sunday service and mass on there, and then everybody goes out in the parking lot and they're fighting to get out of the parking lot, right? Or you go the next day to work and somebody cuts you off and you cuss them out, or you get mad or whatever. The same thing coming home. And maybe that person that cuts you off, well, there's a single mom trying to get home to her kids, okay? Or the teenagers are frustrated that's at the Target store out there, we don't get good customer service, they've just been up all night doing their exams. Okay, or studying for college or something, or that senior couple that's walking down the aisle that upsets us and they're going so slow we want to go around. They're sharing love together. Okay, so we just need to put ourselves in their shoes on it. We need to look at other things through the eyes that God looks at us, and that's what our calling is all about. Okay, and again, you all know the first word spoken on the moon, right? Neil Armstrong, 1969, once thoughts death for mankind. The last 10 words were 1972, Commander-in-Chief Cerna in Apollo 17. We leave as we came, God willing, we shall return. And that's what they're all about. That power box, that's my power box, by the way. That's our family power box. That's this corner on there, we did that. And that's why I had that put in there, because number one is to bring back from our history, but it also brings back that Commander-in-Chief Cerna is still alive today on there, how he referenced God. We can have God in science in our lives. We can have God in family in our lives. We can have God in everything in our lives as long as we have God as the center of our relationships. Going back through time, going back to today. So, anyways, I don't know how I'm doing on time, but I'm going to end on that and so forth, because I know you guys have been sitting there listening to me. And I didn't mean to insult anybody about the millennials video, but I also did want to bring it up because I thought it's important that so many of you're here on a Saturday, exploring your faith, exploring your vision, exploring the power of God in our lives. And it's amazing that you guys are here. And I'm blown away. So I want to thank you for that. And I will. And I am not coming back, so I don't know if I have 3 or 4 minutes for question and answers, if that's what you want, guys. So I don't know what you guys are doing, or You're okay with that, Aaron? Okay, you guys okay with that? So I will take a couple of questions if any of you have any questions. But there's always the first one that nobody wants to. Yes, ma'am.
I've been having difficulty identifying my community just because I move around so much. And either it's a parish or the diocese or a city or a county, but then, a year out and then somewhere else and then turning over. So I was wondering why you thought of us. We're not in Downey.
You know what? Because everybody has leaders, and just leaders in how you are. Because Anthony over there, okay, through the grace of God, I was able to meet him there, and we were able to have a connection somehow, and that's how this all came about. And I consider him a friend, but I'm always intrigued by faith, relationships, and community. And you know what? Whether you guys like it or not, I'm part of your community now. Okay? So, and you're part of mine. So it doesn't have your next door neighbor's your community too. It's what you make out of it. So because of his leadership, because of his love, and his connection today, what was it? It's just, we used to go to an orphanage in Tijuana that we started Scanlon-Guerra-Burke, and people would get mad, even people in our church would get mad. Why are you going to Tijuana and taking all the food there for those kids on there? Because God doesn't have any boundaries. What are you talking about? Once you know that responsibility, I knew there were 63 kids that got so out of those niños, so we would go down there once a month and take the main staples of food. Doesn't matter. If I knew that they were in Carlsbad, I'd do the same thing. Or they were next door. That's how, yeah, but I'm glad. Yes, ma'am.
We have a communicating so much here to us, and we're just wondering, how would you communicate to somebody if they didn't really know Christ? How would you communicate His love to somebody?
That's easy. You do it by your actions. You do it by how you carry yourself. I want somebody to know that I'm a Christian because of who I am. And there was one thing in there that John Wooden quoted, not today, so apropos, that what's important is what you say when nobody else is looking, okay? Because as you just heard in the last couple of weeks, that guy running for president stuff, So it's important. I don't want, sometimes between you and me, we can be having a conversation. I want you to walk away, you know what? That Mayor guy's pretty sincere. I don't want to be bragging to him on the side, having a fake persona and so forth. I want him to know I'm a Christian. Okay? So that's how I spread my love, really meaning it and doing it every single day. And that's the best thing, how you carry yourself. Because then other people want to see, wow, that's a good person. And then it'll come out. So that's how and then, sometimes you have to defend your faith in certain ways, and I'll tell you, certain things, the Catholic Church sometimes, there's things you can argue about any religion, including the Catholic Church, for example, but defending your faith, there's no one why it's done or why part of history, or going through it and figuring out why. But, so that's some knowledge you need to be educated by yourself. Yes, sir.
Unhealthy relationships, friendships, peers. How do you kind of manage those and, not necessarily, give them the full shoulder, but just kind of be respectful in the way you have
I was talking about Hans owning it earlier, about being a car salesman. I'm a politician, right? So politicians, bad words sometimes. I'm a politician. I'm a good politician. I'm an honest politician. I work hard. I kill them with kindness, okay? And that's the hardest thing. Okay? Don't be phony about it, but I kill them with kindness. Okay? That's who you are. You're a jerk. I'm not. How you doing? Good. God bless you. And so forth. I do. I kill them with kindness because I don't have time for bad relationships. I don't have time. I'm not going to treat you bad. It's just like, okay, great, but he's my buddy. I'm going to help him, or she needs my help. So I don't have time for it. But I'm not going to tell you that. I'm going to be respectful. And you know what? And I was saying earlier on there, don't be afraid of that power of prayer thing. Okay, that really, really works. I pray every single day. I pray all the different moments and stuff. And don't forget to let God into your lives. Real fast, I got a joke out there. I remember this Haley from the other day. So this is a joke. So this guy needs a job. He's really bad off, and he needs this joke. Okay, he needs his job, and he gets there. He's ready for the interview, and he can't find parking spot. So he's driving around in the parking lot. He finally pulls over. Jesus, God, please help me, please help me. I need this job. God, if you can help me find a parking spot, I promise I'll work for you the rest of my life. I'll be a good person. I'll try to do good. Please, God, help me find a parking spot. As soon as he does that, right in the front row, his car pulls out. So he's like, oh. And he goes and he pulls in. And he stops the car and he looks up in the sky and he goes, hey, God, never mind, I found one myself. Just realizing that we need to pray and we need to be conscious that we know that God answers all our prayers. Maybe not what we want, but sometimes what we want. So, yes, ma'am.
Can you give us some practical steps of how to engage the community when it comes to events that we might want to do? I don't know if there are boundaries because we're coming from faith-based church communities, but there are times whether it's explicitly faith-based or not, we do want to reach out to our city and community.
Absolutely.
I'm not sure all the practical steps.
Every city has faith-based, and it doesn't matter because they're all faith-based. Any community service is faith-based whether anybody wants to recognize it or not, because that's what community service. The word deacon comes from the Greek word diakonia, which literally means servant. Okay, so we're all servants on that. Downey has 14 service organizations, like Rotary, Kiwanis, Optimus, and so forth. 92 churches. 92 churches and 12.5 square miles. Okay? So we have a great service-based community, but it's all faith-based. So go to different events. Look at things in the city. We have like Keep Downey Beautiful. Okay, that one Saturday a month for an hour, and the city provides the stuff to pick up and the gloves and the whole thing. We get an area and we go and clean out. Well, the majority of those are church groups and youth groups that go in there. You will have 150 people on a Saturday morning for an hour, and we also make it fun. And then so the shopping center donates, stuff on it for a raffle at the end of it and the whole thing. But you make it fun. But I would encourage you just to look at whatever city you're at. Okay, I guarantee you they have community events. Start showing up. Also go things even that are not faith-based, on their Chamber of Commerce and so forth, who you represent. And I'll tell you what, in my Chamber of Commerce, we have a lot of churches represented. There are even members of the Chamber of Commerce. Okay, and they go to all the different community events. So sometimes just show up. Just start showing up on it. People know who you are. You're going to meet people, and you're going to be so encouraged and moved by it. Yes, ma'am?
My question is kind of twofold. Since today is about vision, what would you say your vision was or is, and has it changed along the way, and were there any challenges in that course of your vision?
It changes every day. It changes every day. It's amazing. I'm not kidding you. For me to be here today, God has a sense of humor. He really does, because I'm here. It's like, really? I was an okay kid growing up. I was not a bad kid, and I used to get really good grades and really bad work habit grades, because I talk a lot. I was always in trouble. Yeah, I was always in trouble and stuff like that. I'm not a bad man, I didn't steal things. But you know what? It's just like I said, God has a sense of humor. My life has gone and changed in so many different ways. And you guys just, have it. I'm not promoting it because there's no money to be made. It's all charity based on it. But there's a book that's coming out. Simon She's picked up my book. It's called Embracing Change. It should be out next week. Actually, next month. Embracing Change and Immigrant Silence. But the parts of my life is that now, guys, November 2014, 2 years ago from now, right? I was coming off being mayor for 8 years in the great city of Downey. I put 50, 60 hours a week into that. I was running for a state senate race, okay? I was a 25-point voter underdog. My registration, I lost by a point, okay? So I was putting 50, 60 hours flying up and down the state and so forth for the state senate race, okay? Then at the same time, I was looking to sell my business, okay? So I went to 3 things that were putting 100 and some hours a week. And in December 2014, it stopped. It stopped. I lost the Senate race. I was turned out of office. Okay, I did sell the company to Martha J. Gallagher. I'm still an executive there and still running parts and stuff. But it stopped. So January 2015, I'm like, now what do? I'm blessed. I got an awesome life. I got great kids. A couple bucks a day now from that. Now what do I do with my life? I'm going to keep serving. I'm a deacon. I'm the chaplain for the police officer. I did more ride-alongs and stuff. And that's when life changes. But I'm happy. And it changed. It gave me more time to do chaplain things. It gave me more time to do other things. Now I do some political consulting, which I love because I'm helping good candidates get elected. Every day is changing. So the whole key to that is just take a step back, okay? Pray a little bit about it. You know, I had a postpartum depression in December and in January. I didn't know what I was going to do with myself. I knew I was blessed, and that was about it. I'm a young man. I'm not done serving in an elected office yet. I don't know what that is yet, but I've been gone up and down the state. I'm speaking on some of the propositions and a couple of things on there. What's that? Yeah, I can name you 15 people that would be great at that, and so forth. I worked really hard for the last 2 years for Senator Marco Rubio. That was my choice on who became good friends. And anyways, let's not go there, guys. Okay, we all have a good day. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'd like to ask the speakers or people that I just met what is their favorite book or what book are they reading right now?
Or you want me to answer that? I'll tell you already.
Panel later, sorry.
Oh, you'll be on the panel later. I'll tell you one book that I'm reading right now that was, well, first of all, my favorite book of all time is They Call Me Coach, John Wooden's story. Okay? John Wooden had all the things on there. He was my favorite things when They Call Me Coach or Teacher. Okay, so all the other things he did like on there. But I'm reading one right now, just again, I'm a political guy, and it's called The President's Club. And it's about, you guys, there's this exclusive club of only presidents. Duffy is his last name, Duffy. Yeah, you can get it on Amazon. I bought it, you can use it on Amazon on recommendation. But it talks about, like, here's President Hoover and Truman, that they hated each other. And yet after World War II, when all of Europe was going hungry, Truman called on Hoover because he had done that after World War I, and they had a special relationship. That people, but because President Truman was willing to open up to President Hoover, millions of people were saved in Europe because of the hunger famine and so forth. So it was just intriguing that there's this extra club. There's a place in Washington, D.C. I'm a big political guy. I go to D.C. every couple of months on political stuff. There's a house in Washington, D.C. that's set up for ex-presidents. Okay, I think nobody knows about it. It's not Blair House across the street for Vice President of the White House. It's over in Lafayette Place. And only past president, small club, right, can go there, and their family can only stay there where that president is there. And it was set up by Richard Nixon because he wanted President Johnson to help him on a couple of things. So he wanted to, befriend him. So he did this, and then it's part of the President's Club. You look at all the other stuff, because it's an exclusive thing. I'll tell you what, the other day I was together with 6 former mayors of Downey. There's only 8 of us live. It's kind of cool. You're the only ones that know that. These guys are at a different level. So you got these presidents that come together. That's why Bill Clinton gets along with George W. Bush and H.W. Bush. They do, because you notice that George W. Bush never put down President Obama. None of them ever put each other down because they know the responsibilities and they take pride in the office of that. So anyways, that's a really cool book I'm reading right now. I read 3 pages this morning and I can't put it down. So, one last question. I know you guys are short time. Yes, ma'am?
Okay, so I assume that you have a lot of ideas coming through your head, as you're being very involved. Which ones, how do you know which ones you should act on?
It's easy. The one that, to me, by the way, I keep a yellow sticky pad on my nightstand drawer. I really do, because and I'm writing down stuff. I'll come to the office, taking notes. There'll be like 8 postcards on there from just last night and stuff. The ones that I feel can make an impact with the most people. And sometimes it could be 1 or 2 people, small things you can love it. I have that everywhere. I live that. But I'm trying to decide what's my time more valuable at. Right now I serve on the boards of 2 high schools. St. John Bosco High School and St. Pius St. Matthias Academy. And St. Pius St. Matthias Academy almost closed down a couple of years ago. Their enrollment was down. It's mostly tuition assisted and so forth. St. John Bosco was the number 1 team in the country and football, but it's great academics. They got rich people going there. Blah 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 blah. Okay. This will be my last year at St. John Bosco on that board because St. Pius St. Matthias on there needs me. And more, and I can do more there, and I love them both. I mean, my kid goes to Bosco, but it bothered me that when we were picking schools, not once did I even think of St. Pius St. Matthias Academy, okay? And it bothered me that at least it didn't even come up in the conversation like, hey honey, should we look at that school for it? It didn't, and it bothered me. But I served on there, this year have the largest tuition increase because they have this principal that's this Pied Piper. And so I know that here's a school that was almost going to close. This guy came in 3 years ago, and now the whole bandwagon is literally jumping on. And I love that on there. So I choose, I think, where I'm needed and where I think I can do the most good on there. So that's an easy call for me. But yeah, St. Pius and Viaje some stuff. Anyway, I'm getting the axe on here. Okay, I'm sorry. So folks, God bless you on there. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for having me. It's a complete honor to be here, Margaret. You guys are really stuck with me. I wasn't just kidding. So God bless you.